Hey, how are y'all?
How are you?
Oh, I'm preaching.
You're preaching? You don't recognize me?
Yeah, I recognize you.
Oh, I didn't know you were being videotaped.
that's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
That's all right.
I didn't see that man till then.
Yeah, well, you're in the interview.
Oh, no, I'll get out of the interview. You keep going
Yeah,
now. We'll
well,
talk
you ain't gonna get nowhere running from God.
Well, but I'm just running from the interview. You go ahead and
No,
interview
this
and
is
we'll
God's
talk
work.
to you then.
When you come up on God's people, you're supposed to admit yourself to them and be with them.
Well, I'm here. I'm on the interview now.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to
You
tell
see,
you.
I got my book.
Yeah, what
I want
about
you to
that?
sign it
Where'd
after
you
a
get
while.
that thing?
I got that thing in Atlanta. Tom did a good job. Isn't that a pretty book?
Is it in an account?
Oh, it's wonderful. Basically, he just lets it, it's just your words, you know.
The only one they sent me was one for me to inspect and see if I got everything right. And it's out there at the house with the mistakes in it. And I called them and told them what the mistakes was, and they started putting it on the market now.
Well, I hadn't found any mistakes yet, but then I don't know the material as well as you do. But it's wonderful.
Thank you.
I
A man come here and read the whole thing over to me one night. I thought it was wonderful.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, that man done a good job on that. And, I worked hard for several years working with him and giving him stories and going around to all the churches I pastored, and it took me and him together a year to get that thing together where he could write it.
Yeah.
Or over it.
Tom loves your work, and he
Yeah.
you know, he did that book on
Well, that
St.
should bring a jargon society out. They should get enough money out of that book to bring them out, you know. That's what that book is, to help the jargon society. I even
Yeah.
put on a show for them, you know.
Yeah.
And I know what I'm doing right now. I'm building a one-man show for Los Angeles. I've got a producer out there that's backing me for 3 weeks' work, and he's sending students from a university in Virginia here, and he's going to pay them, and we're going to make a major workout for a big show, and he's going to put it up in Los Angeles, and he's going to sell the stuff and put it on a movie. He's trying to raise about $5 billion to do a live story in a movie, you know. So I'll be busy for about 3 or 4 more weeks, so I won't have nothing for nobody because I signed a contract to get this show out.
Well, we don't, you know, you don't have to take anything with you but just the thoughts and the enjoyment of being here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, this is God's plans that's going on. That book was God's plans, and this movie in Hollywood's God's plan, because I'm going to be preaching to them people in Hollywood. I'm going to give messages for them to read they never have heard before. I'm going to reach Hollywood, and if I do get to go out there, they want me to come out there. I can tell them right quick to quit worrying about sinking off in the ocean and earthquake. What they need to study about is being ready. When you get ready, you don't have to worry about nothing, earthquakes or nothing. And that's the main thing I need to know, is to get ready to meet God and stay that way. You don't know when you're going to get killed. I've seen people die in perfect health all my life, get killed in car wrecks, nice young couples, people I've pled with about driving fast and everything else. Good health don't have nothing to do with it. When the time comes, you're going to go. You better be ready. And if you want to sleep good of a night and live happy, you better just be ready. And that there is a job between the individual and God. You don't have to go to me or Billy Graham or nobody. We might help you, but when it gets making things right with God, that's a matter between you and God only, personally. Every human has to do that, to go to God alone and personally go to God, and it's you and Him that settles that, nobody else. The preachers can bring you to Him, and they can tell you how to get to Him, and they can help you, and they're great. But when it comes to getting right, that's something you and God's got to make right. If you had something to make right with me, you wouldn't go down here in Summer and try to make it right with a banker or somebody down there that I associated with. You'd have to come here to me to make it right with me, face to face. And you wouldn't be sending people here to apologize for you. You come yourself. And when me and you got it straightened out, we can both live happy. And that's the way it is with every human, every student. I have 3 busloads of students here sometimes, and one day they want to hear me out. They want to find out the way. I have letters from over around Holland and England wanting to know what to do to get to heaven. They've studied all the religions and everything. I said, the thing to do to get to heaven is be born to the Spirit of God. pure and undefiled religion before God, it tells you what it is. Every church is going to have that. I don't care what kind it is. And that pure and undefiled religion before God is to visit the orphans and the widows and their afflictions and keep yourself unspotted from the world. And that kind of religion is going to get you through the gates. And that's the only religion I know of that the Bible speaks about is religion. Go see the widows that their husbands has died and see if they need anything. If you ain't got it, you make up and you see that they get it. That's what visiting the widow is. And that's what visiting the orphans is. And when you do that, keep yourself unspotted from the world, it means if you're a hoe-hopper, quit hoe-hopping. If you're a thief, quit stealing. That's what it means to keep yourself unspotted from the world. And that's what people are going to have to do, and that's it. It's not a very long message, it's just a sample. And that's the way God gives it to me, and that's the way I have to preach it. And the reason they baptized with water for the remissions of sin was while Jesus Christ was here on earth. Jesus Christ was here on earth, and he hadn't been crucified. He was with them, like y'all standing there. I couldn't be saved beyond his blood, that in your body and me talking to you. So they couldn't get saved with his blood because he hadn't shed it yet. And he was bringing them out from under the law, and they couldn't go back under the law. So he let them baptize while he was here for the remissions of sin. John baptized them for the remissions of sin because they didn't have his blood shed for them at that time. And they couldn't go back under the law at that time. He was bringing them out from under that pile of bondage. And that's all they had at that time. And baptizing with water for the remissions of sins was only about 15 or 20 years after they'd done that. And after he died on the cross, it said his blood cleanseth from all sins, so water would never wash it away again. And if we have to be baptized with water to be saved, why did he die on the cross? We wouldn't need him to die on the cross. We get saved with water now. But since he died on the cross, we don't get saved with water no more. We get saved with his precious blood. And that's where they're tangled up. Like they have to have water baptism or they go to hell. That's pitiful for educated people and intelligent people to be so blind. But the Bible speaks of them. He said in the last, it said, he that thinketh he knoweth all things, knoweth not anything which he ought to know. And I'm a 4th grade student preaching to y'all. And what I have for you don't come from me. It don't come from a university and it don't come from a high school. Because they didn't have none of that. God shows me how things really are. Because he's depending on me to tell the people. So that's the only way they have a way of knowing it for somebody to come and tell them. And I worked my money out here and bought this whole city block. I bought every house in here. I bought that trailer across the street and that house over yonder, just making art and selling it. And the art's got messages for God on it. I've given my whole life and turned my back on all the sports and everything. And all the recreations and vacations and everything. I've turned my back on all of them to get the message of God out and pay for it myself and get it out there. And then later then, after God seen that I'm meant to go forward for him, then he took the Wall Street Journal and old Rolling Stone magazine, just an old whirly magazine. They put 4 pages of my messages in it and carried it out. They all come here, 3 parties of them come here. Seen what I was doing, and you open Rolling Stone magazine, and one of the prettiest things in there, there's the shortest verse in the Bible, Jesus wept, right there in their magazine. And one of the saints that they're killing, and me telling them that they're going to have to quit killing saints for religion, and they published that in there. And I have backing, and I have Channel 11 was here yesterday, Channel 11 was here the other day. Channel ABC was here and put a garden wedding on, and put on one of the 8-foot angels I'm making. And people got to calling me across the nation telling me, Howard, we've seen your angel and seen the wedding. And that book come out. They started calling me from Los Angeles to New York to all over, saying, we bought your book, Howard, it's out. They had never sent me none yet. They're supposed to send me some sale here. They got to get that money first, you know. And then they have some left, they'll sell them to old preacher. Well, I've been used to being down that way. I don't mind it. I like to be the tail end if it'll help everything. I'm not the big man, but I work for the big man.